everyone, and welcome back to the Woolly Wonka Fibers podcast. My name is Anne, and you can find me on the web at my main website, which is woollyWonkaFiber.com. I also have an Instagram and Facebook account under Woolly Wonka Fibers. I have a Ravelry group under the same name, and you can also find me as Bunny Spinner if you're interested in my personal Ravelry pages. This is a podcast about my knitting, spinning, crafty life, indie dye and indie design business, all kinds of fun stuff. If you're a new visitor, thank you so much for taking the time to spend a few minutes with me listening to my podcast. And if you're a returning visitor, thank you so much for coming back to share some of your time with me again. Let's see, today is Tuesday, July 12th. It is hot here, you guys. We're having a very unseasonably hot and dry July. We usually get the monsoons by this time, and we just really have not had the rain, so the fire danger here is crazy off the charts. And normally when I record in the mornings, it's cool enough that I have my dogs outside, and I don't know if you can hear the puppies in the other room chewing on her bone because she has to go stand out there. She's a little too interactive otherwise. But at any rate, the dogs are inside enjoying the cooler temps in the house. We are very thankful for our air conditioner working, so 2 thumbs up for that. Let's kind of get right into everything, shall we? I have just one finished object to share with you guys this week. These were kind of a test knit. I was trying out a brand new sock yarn base for the shop. I have been looking for something that's an American produced sock yarn, which is kind of hard to find because most of the sock yarns are superwash merino and they're made outside the country and shipped in. So I found this one, which is a 75% Targhee wool, which is an American breed, and the fiber is grown here in the United States. It's actually a breed that's common out here in the West. Lots of Targhee in Montana, Idaho, places that are a little cooler than we are here in New Mexico, but still kind of arid. So it's 75% Targhee and 25% nylon, and it's a really nice cushy sock yarn, not quite as soft as merino but super bouncy, and it takes dye so well. So these are the socks I knit up, just a plain vanilla, you know, nothing crazy. I just wanted to see how the yarn worked up. It's a 2x2 rib up there at the cuff, 64 stitch leg and foot, the fish lips kiss heel, and then just my regular kind of boxy rounded toe. This is a new colorway that'll be available this fall called Asters. That's a speckle dye. It's got kind of a base of a pale purple and then little pops of a bronze and a darker blue purple. Anyway, I love these socks. They came out great. They fit me perfectly. Definitely going to have this yarn base up in the shop as a permanent addition in September. It'll premiere at the Salida Fiber Festival, which is, I believe it's the 9th and 10th of September. So these are also going for my Box O Socks knit along, because I'll keep these for myself. And they'll also go to the Knitting Broomsticks Sock Club 2016. So these are done. Put these in the books. The Already Done these also will go towards my Stash Dash total, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So that's it for finished objects. That's all I got off the needles this week. For works in progress, I have started the sample for the Yarn Guys September kit. I'm working on that. I'm about a quarter of the way through. It's a 2-skein project and on my Nimue sock. And it's not a crazy difficult project, but it has 3 charts. And so it's kind of a work on that, don't chit chat. It's not a take to knit night kind of project. It's a sit at the table, work at my desk kind of project. So that is currently under wraps. until it releases, which will be September 1st, but it's coming along great. It's a gorgeous colorway that I love. I'm always happy to have the chance to work with that yarn base. It's one of my favorites. And so that's coming out really, really nicely. I just got to put some time in on it, and that's my focus this week. So big project that kind of has taken up a lot of bandwidth. Then over the weekend, I really needed some kind of mindless knitting, semi-mindless and mindless knitting. So I wound up a skein of, excuse me, Desert Vista Dye Works that I had in stash. I'm trying to find the tag here, guys. Here's her tag. And this is on her Viso sock base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And the colorway is Calvin and Hobbes. This is from her collection of book series. And this was the comic, I think it was like comic book month. It was a couple months ago, but at any rate, here's sock 1 finished. Basic plain vanilla again, just 1x1 ribbing, 64 stitches, which I knit on US 1s, the 2.25 millimeters. Fish lips, kiss heel, rounded toe. So one sock totally done, off the needles. And then I also cast on for sock number 2. So not too far along on that, but I've got a bunch of appointments and stuff this week. So this is my, go sit in a waiting room, go stand in line, wait for the post office to open kind of knit. So I don't know if I'll have these finished for sure next week, but kind of like to try to do that, or have them, in the end stages. And then, because I apparently was on a sock knitting kick, or am on a sock knitting kick, I decided I wasn't going to put another shawl on the needle since I'm already working on a bigger project. I kind of need little mini things to concentrate on right now. So I decided to cast on for the next sock that I plan to knit in the Coffee with Cece knit along that's being hosted over in the Knitting Broomstick podcast group. You guys have seen, I think it's 3 other socks out of the 6 that are in the book, patterns by Cece Allman, that I've already finished. And so I have 3 pairs of socks and a shawl. And so this is the I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice Latte sock. And I cast that on this weekend as well. It's got a really fun little kind of plump pumpkin and cabling vine pattern on the center front. It's toe up, obviously, and just plain stockinette. The leg has some textured pattern on it. Once you get there, this cable pattern continues up the front of the leg. And then there's a kind of stretchier pattern for the back of the leg. The pattern suggests that you go up a needle size because the cable does draw in quite a bit. You can see that on the sample there. But I'm not finding that it's drawing in so much it's uncomfortable to wear. We'll see once I put the heel in. But for right now, I'm gonna stick with what I've got. The yarn I'm using is from the shop. It is Woolly Wonka Fibers Ayrton, which is the merino cashmere nylon sock base, and the colorway is Bittersweet, which I love for fall, but it's not a good color for me up near my face. But socks, heck yeah, anything goes. So I'm really enjoying working on these. I think they're going to be fun to wear. It's going to be nice to have a squishy pair of fall themed socks for when the weather turns cool. So this is as far as I've gotten. I haven't done anything crazy wild cranking on these, and I probably won't. I will just pick these up and put them down, do a couple of repeats a night or something like that, and see how far I go. Just an enjoyable knit, a little bit more difficult than the plain vanilla sock, but to be honest, there's 12 chart rows that form the pattern, and really only one of the 12 is very difficult. It just to manipulate the stitches at that center little twist right there. Not that it's impossible or overly difficult, it's just one of those things you have to put your concentration on the sock and actually do that as opposed to the autopilot sock. So that's what I have currently on the needles. We just finished up week 6 of Stash Dash, and I am at 7,906 meters, which is, so we're halfway through Stash Dash, and I'm just about at that halfway mark for the 15K. So I'm going to keep going. I know I can hit 10 because that's only about 2,000 meters more, and I've got some spinning and I've got some other knitting projects. The September project that I'm working on for the Yarn Guys is going to be close to 800 yards, so that right there will be about half of what I need just to get to the 10K mark. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and see if that's something I can actually achieve with my kind of time out for surgery in between. I appreciate all the feedback and emails and things I've gotten from folks. It's been really nice to have some positive suggestions. You know, when you're recovering from surgery, I've never had to have surgery. It's kind of one of the things on my bucket list that I was aiming for, was to never, ever have surgery, ever. And, you know, that's gone out the window. So not really knowing what to expect in terms of recovery, what I'll be up to, what I'll be interested in. It's been great to have some suggestions, and pretty much everyone has said plain vanilla socks are great, garter stitch something or another is good, all of those things. So I'm trying to kind of limit myself and not put too much of the crazy on the needles so that I don't get discouraged or don't have to rip a bunch of stuff out when I'm not paying a close enough attention to do a good job on it. So we'll see, because you know, stockinette in the round knits up really fast, so that's great numbers for Stash Dash. Whether it's something I am even going to be interested in doing, I don't know. Time will tell. I had a doctor I worked with once who that was his favorite phrase for patients recovering, was time will tell, which usually is the case. So speaking of other kind of mindless knits, y'all may remember that I have been working on my scrappy sock yarn mitered square cozy memory blanket-ish project. And I had decided that I was going to do all the squares individually and then sew them together when I finished. I got kind of a wild hair last week, and I decided that I was going to start sewing things together, and I did decide that I'm actually going to make 2 blankets. One of which was a great suggestion by my friend Karen, who said, well, why don't you do one that's all your yarns? So I had already started some squares, and I have those set aside, and as I have odds and ends of various things for shop samples, I'll knit those up and eventually get that sewn up. And I will probably do that as like a gradient where it shifts from one color family through to another, and then all the way through the color spectrum. But then I have a whole bunch of other minis that were gifted to me, or I got in trades, or just had from projects that aren't my shop yarns. So I got those sewn up. I do have others, but what I'm trying to do is have a little bit of sort of an organizational semblance, believe it or not. I mean, scrap blankets by their nature are kind of random, but you'll see what I'm trying to do here is like the blue in this one gets picked up a little bit by the blue in that one. And this has a little bit of, you just barely see it, that kind of pale burgundy and that herb green, which is mirrored over here. So I'm trying to pick squares that have something in common with their neighbors as I'm sewing it together. So this is as far as I've gotten. Like I said, I do have other individual squares knit up that I'm kind of waiting to see where their placement would go best. But here's the 4x5. So I've got those 20 squares sewn up already. Kind of fun. I'm definitely enjoying just kind of picking and choosing little bits of yarn, and you know, it's a great quick project when you've got 20 minutes, half an hour to just do one square and toss it in the Ziploc. So again, I'm not really setting any goals for this. I'm just working on it as I decide I want to work on it. So I'll just be adding to that kind of as the summer goes along, and we'll see how far I get. But I do think it will be fun to have the blanket that's kind of a little crazier with all the hand paints, and then the blanket that has my shop yarns in it that are a lot of tonals, because because I dye a lot of tonals. That's what's in the blanket. Let's see. Let's move on to spinning. I think it is day 11 of the tour. Is that right? Yes, day 11 of the Tour de Fleece. I have been busily working on my spinning wheel. I finished up the merino cashmere bat that I was working on last week. This came out so soft, as you might guess, right? Cashmere, it's kind of hard to knot. It's just a really pretty quiet blue-gray, very soft color and very soft fiber. I wound up with, so the original bat was 3 ounces. And I wound up with a little bit of waste on one of the bobbins and a total of 184 yards and 2.6 ounces. So it came out a little bit lighter than the worsted weight I was shooting for, but there's still plenty of yardage here for a hat. I'm thinking a DK weight cabled hat would be great out of this. I just need to pick a pattern. So that was another one that was from my Spin the Bin project. So another 3 ounces out of that set of 120 ounces total done. Very squishy. I think it's going to be super warm knit up to. It's 35% cashmere, so it's got a really high cashmere content. And I think it will bloom a little bit once I knit it and work with it a little bit more. It did not poof as much in the bath as I thought it would, but that's okay. I think it will bloom a little bit more once I work with it and manipulate it. So it'll be a nice medium weight, not too warm, not too light kind of hat. I will let you know what I decide in terms of pattern choice when I get there. Okay, so what I'm working on right now is another Spin the Bin fiber. I've started this one already. This was a club fiber from Hedgehog Fibers. Let me see if the bag actually tells me. No. I want to say it's from about 1.5 years ago, but don't quote me on that. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous fiber. It's merino, wool, silk, black alpaca, and stellina, which is the sparkle. And you can see tons of sparkle in that. So this actually was 5 ounces. And the clubs from Hedgehog Fibers are 5 ounce and not 4 ounce ones. So I have spun up the first bobbin. I think you can see all the sparkle in that. It's really pretty. It reminds me of the Indian sari cloth. It's got a lot of jewel tones in it, and I'm spinning it fairly fine because I'm thinking shawl all the way. So this is the first bobbin. That's the first 2.5 ounces. I have started the second bobbin of singles, so this is what I have left to spin up. It's super, super soft. It spins like a dream. I don't know what else to say about it. It's gorgeous. It's a great fiber. I'm really enjoying this spin, and I'm glad that I pulled it out. I didn't think the colors were going to be me, but now that I see them spun up, I think that when plied, totally up my alley. That black silk component that's in there, you can see it a little bit. You can see it better on that side. I'm sorry, black alpaca component really antiques the really bright colors down. So enjoying that spin. I'm going to try to get the singles finished up this week and get this plied and start on the next bin spin, which I haven't decided what that's going to be yet. I have a lot of like sock fiber type bases, you know, a superwash merino with nylon kind of blend, and I'm not sure I want to spin just sock yarn this summer. I don't know, might need a little more instant gratification. I'm kind of all about that right now. But anyway, we'll see how this one goes. This was a really quick spin, even though it is being spun up fairly fine. So maybe the sock yarn bases will surprise me. I do not know. And then I wanted to talk about a new acquisition that came in the mail. This is the June Ocean Wind Fibers Club fiber. It's a Targhee wool, 100% Targhee. That's probably pretty close. I think the color that's showing as orange on the monitor, like right here, is actually a little pinker in real life, and I'm not sure why it's reading orange. But at any rate, so this is from Ocean Wind Knits, and I know I had the tag. Bum, bum. Here it is. So this is the June 2016 club. The theme is Morgan Le Fay. Here's the tag that has the inspiration photo. Let me get that to focus up. Last month, this month, and next month, the club theme is Arthurian legends. So Morgan Le Fay. I love to spin Targhee. I think this one may be slated for socks or maybe a cowl. Maybe I'll do something different, spin it a little bit plumper. But gonna go marinate and stash for a while I'm working on the World of Spin in the Bin. But that was a fun addition that came this week, so I'm looking forward to spinning that as well. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of acquisitional things, I signed up for the FiberShare swap. If you're not familiar with that, it's a worldwide swap. You can search for them under FiberShare, which is FiberShare. Google it. They've also got an Instagram feed that kind of keeps you up to date when they open signups. You do pay to sign up. It's a fairly nominal fee. It's $5. You can choose knitting, spinning, or weaving as kind of your main focus of interest. And then you get paired with someone who sends you a package, and you get paired with someone who you send a package. It's not a direct swap. So the person that I sent my goodies to is different than the person who sent me goodies. So I got paired up with Althea, who is Spotted Dog Knits on Instagram, if you care to follow her. She's just moved back to Minnesota. And so she sent me this great package that was themed with all these fun Minnesota things. And I think a lot of them are from around Duluth, which is kind of an interesting connection for me because my Aunt Anna lives there and has most of her adult life. It didn't bring everything down with me because, for instance, one of the things she sent me was this package of adorable dog treats called mosquito poop. First off, there's nothing in the ingredients that doesn't sound good. It's got peanut butter, it's got sunflower seeds, it's got cranberries in it. You open the package and it smells like human snacks. They are great. The dogs have loved them. They got one a day over the weekend. We had to kind of beat them off with a stick because once they figured out how much they liked them, they wanted the entire bag. So that was a winner. She sent me this great little paperweight that are beach stones and some driftwood from Lakeshore. She sent me a couple of really cute alpaca finger puppets and some fiber to play with. She actually sent me a dye your own yarn kit, which I have done. It's drying. I did that this morning. And then she sent me some really, really gorgeous yarns. This one is her own brand because she's also an indie dyer in the colorway Lake Superior. Here's her tag. And this is 20%, see if I get this right, 80% superwash wool, 20% nylon, sock yarn weight. I can definitely see myself making a pair of patterned socks with this. It's perfect for a lace or a cable pattern. Just really soft, subtle tonals in that gray blue with a little bit of kind of purple and green underneath. Just really pretty. And then she also sent me a skein of the Three Irish Girls Adorn Luxe, which is 85% merino, 15% nylon, also sock yarn. And my older dog is having a little dream. Rowan? Rowan. She's over there growling at, I don't know, squirrels, lizards, something. And she's a little hard of hearing, so me talking does not affect her. Anywho, the colorway is Yarn Harbor, and this is an exclusive colorway to the local yarn store up there near Althea. So again, gorgeous, and really, these would be great together too. I decide to do a shawl with those. So thank you, Althea. I really, really appreciated getting such a fun box. It was a great gift to get on a Saturday because then I got to open it and kind of savor everything and enjoy it. It was really fun to see local stuff from her neck of the woods. Just fun. So I encourage you guys, if you have interest in participating in the Swap Fiber Share, I had a great experience with it. I would definitely do it again. Just fun, good times. So I think that's about it for this week. I am going to try to podcast on Monday the 18th because I think that's going to be the last podcast in July. I suspect I will not be interested in podcasting on the 25th. Maybe, maybe not. We'll stay tuned on that. I wouldn't expect to hear from me on the 25th, but you never know. Maybe I'm going to do great and be cognizant enough off my painkillers to want to chat with you guys about plain vanilla sock knitting or something like that. So anyway, I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope that it's filled with wonderful crafty time with family and friends, and I hope you're having wonderful weather wherever you are in your corner of the world. So until next time, take care, happy crafting, bye.